Well, there's a pause. There were air raid sirens, then the anti-aircraft fire. If there were any big hits of weaponry incoming, we're unaware of it. General Kernan, we're going to hold on to this picture for a bit to see what should we expect in the very first of the major aerial bombardment of Iraq.
Well, I think the thing you're going to see is a totally integrated fight. The ground, air, and sea systems all coming to bear on a particular target or targets. I think it's going to be very overwhelming. You've got to be a very disciplined and very well-trained force to withstand that.
General, when you talk about, as has been talked about, as we talk over this live picture of Baghdad to see what the sirens followed by anti-aircraft fire may mean in Baghdad, when you talk about firing hundreds, if not thousands, of missiles and laser-guided bombs, try as we may, true or untrue, that there are bound to be considerable civilian casualties on the ground?
Possibly. It all depends on where we target them. We're going to be very precise in our targeting. We will try to do what we can to avoid the major metropolitan areas because we know there are civilians in there. But this is going to be one of those decisions that General Franks and his subordinate commanders are going to have to make, looking at a target. And if it is a military necessity, they will do everything they can to mitigate collateral damage.
General Buck Kernan, you're looking at a live picture of Baghdad. We're going to go to videotape so you can see and hear what happened a few minutes ago. First there were the air raid sirens, and then this is what people in Baghdad inside their homes with their noses and eyes pressed to the glass, looking outside. That'd be foolish to press to the glass. But this is a videotape a few minutes ago. We'll just watch and listen. Now we go back to live picture. Now, Baghdad is under attack again, would you not say?
Yeah, it definitely looked like we had some ground explosions there.
Incoming because there were ground explosions. So for the second time in just less than 24 hours, Baghdad is under attack. And the earth shakes. Live picture of Baghdad under attack for the second time in 24 hours. This is not videotape. Anti-aircraft fire mixed with incoming hits. Night in Baghdad. Rockets' red glare, bombs bursting in air, and some hitting the ground with tremendous force. Trying to keep our commentary to a minimum here so you can see and hear it and experience it as much as is possible on television. You will see huge bellowing smoke coming up on the right-hand side. Go to the right corner of your screen. But of course, there's no way for television to convey the horror on the ground in the area of one of these big hits from a cruise Tomahawk missile or a guided bomb. The smoke on the right-hand side rising ever higher, like a symbolic tower of destruction. Deja vu. Scenes we saw once before, 12 years ago. That's the thump of anti-aircraft fire. Here is David Chater of Sky News, our CBS affiliate, filing his report live from Baghdad. All of this is live. David Chater speaks. Well, we had hopes there. We thought we had David Chater up. You will understand that the circumstances, it's not that easy to get up from Baghdad under these circumstances.
A huge blitz.
Now here it
just
is.
Seems to be a very accurate, narrowly focused set of cruise missiles that have hit their targets. Those targets that I can see at the moment in the lights of the city, now being blocked out by the smoke rising from those targets, are Republican Guard units. They are Ba'ath Party headquarters maybe has been hit. I've got quite a large view, and four targets right in front of me burning away and smoke billowing down the Tigris past me. They would seem to be, as we suspected, command and control centers, Republican Guard units and bunkers, maybe some radar and air defense sites. Those are the areas that have been hit. All the lights are still on and blazing away in the city. We haven't seen an attack on any of the electricity grids, power stations, or the bridges. A very ferocious, narrowly focused attack on the command and control centers and the structures of power here inside Baghdad. Yet again, an object lesson of the smart technology, the accuracy of the cruise missiles, and the desire of the Allies, of course, to limit as much as possible civilian casualties. These look like they were very accurate strikes.
Surgical strikes is what the Pentagon said it planned. They seem to be precise so far. We can see the orangey grey smoke billowing away to the right of the screen, just beyond those bright lights, to the right of the mosque where, as you were saying, David, that Republican Guard, probably a command and control center, has been hit by the looks of it. Donald Rumsfeld, David, was saying to the people of Iraq, stay away from military complexes, stay away from command and control places. We have no wish to harm you. Just stay at home and keep away from anything that might be hit. Do you think they will heed those words?
This is David Chater is now talking with his home office. What you're seeing is live coverage from Baghdad. Sky TV reporter David Chater, who also files for CBS News, is at this moment reporting live. He is talking to his headquarters in London. So that's what you're hearing. We go back to Baghdad live. Huge, bellowing smoke hanging now like some immense drapery over Baghdad. Explosions could be heard from the west side of the Tigris River. That would be, just to refresh your memory, the Tigris River is to the west, the Euphrates, the Tigris River to the east, forgive me, the Tigris River to the east and the Euphrates River to the west, if you're looking at your Iraq map, which we'll show you in a minute. But anyway, explosions could be heard from the west side of the Tigris River, where at least two of Saddam Hussein's palaces and the intelligence headquarters are located. Explosions and large clouds of gray smoke appeared to be closer to the heart of the city. This is a wide shot there. You can see as the smoke is drifting over the city. So, not to confuse you, the Tigris River, which runs more in the eastern portion of central Iraq, the Euphrates River to the west, this was on the major hits seem to be on the west side of the Tigris River. Now that's where two of Saddam's palaces are, and the intelligence headquarters is also located in that general area. But after the major explosions, we haven't heard a major hit explosion in the last, well, several seconds, if not minutes. This tremendous column of smoke rose up and then began to disperse. More anti-aircraft fire. Let's listen up. As you heard David Chater, correspondent there, say on the air, it was his belief that these strikes were by cruise missiles. General Buck Kernan, as we continue to listen.
I'll see if I can do that.
Hold on just a moment. That would be the target, the weapon of preference.
I believe so. They could be integrated with some F-117s again, but in all probability, these were cruise missiles. As you've already pointed out, you've got the palaces there. The Ba'ath Party headquarters is to the west of the Tigris River there. There's an awful lot of communications facilities there. So I think those are the things they're going to target right now. They'll be very selective in their targeting to reduce the destruction of the civilian infrastructure. So they're going to target those things that basically isolate and ideally decapitate the command and control of the Iraqi military.
As we continue to look at the attack on Baghdad, this is a live picture and sound. We're going to go to the Pentagon. David Martin, what information do you have for us?
Well, Dan, believe it or not, the Pentagon cannot confirm that that attack is taking place, and I think that is an indication of how much this plan is being rewired as we go, all as a result of last night's attempt to short-circuit the entire process and get off that shot to kill Saddam. These look to be not the start of an all-out air assault on Baghdad, but rather trying to take down individual points in the command and control structure. And this is different than the original plan. And you can only surmise that it has to do with playing off last night's attack, where they think they eliminated the leadership, or at least forced the leadership to go into such deep cover that they are totally unable to communicate. And now, of course, they're taking out the means by which their successors might communicate. And it's all part of the same air campaign, which also involved destroying relay sites, radio relay sites out in the western desert. Take down the leadership positions, take down the communications that they use to control their troops. And it's what you want to do before you start the main thrust of the invasion force into Iraqi territory. So that
Excuse me, David, we're going to return live to Baghdad. There's some noise there. Forgive me. Again, it sounds like anti-aircraft fire. I didn't hear anything. It sounded like incoming, but it's certainly hard to tell. Some urgent news come across. F-14 and F-18 jet fighter bombers have been taking off from the USS Theodore Roosevelt. That's a carrier in the eastern Mediterranean. I mean, in the score, not in the Persian Gulf, not in the Red Sea. These F-14s and F-18 jets, they are armed with missiles and bombs. There's no word on whether they were headed to Baghdad or other targets in Iraq. We'll keep this picture up in part of the screen, but want to show you the map here, because it gets confusing about where these attacks come. The cruise and Tomahawk missiles are often fired from the Red Sea and the Persian Gulf area. But the Theodore Roosevelt is up in the Mediterranean Sea. Hold on just a second here. Big noise there. At any rate, these F-14s and F-18s have to fly a pretty long way, sort of dip down and around to get into that. Ooh, that was a big noise. Might have been incoming.
Probably was a cruise missile strike.
Seeing this huge cloud, which we could see coming up from the right-hand side of the screen and then envelop Baghdad, it looks a little like that scene as we reporters came into Kuwait City near the end of the 1991 war, when Saddam Hussein had set his oil fields afire, and there was literally darkness at noon. However, this is darkness at Baghdad time, about 9:20.
Well, Danny probably is trying to do some things like light off some of those oiled trenches and some other things for obscuration. It's not going to do them a whole lot of good because our precision targeting now, in particular through GPS and the satellites, enabled us to be very, very precise in targeting the facilities we're after.
As we listen for more hits, clearly Baghdad has been under attack now for roughly 15-20 minutes, certainly by cruise missiles, perhaps I should say almost certainly by cruise missiles, and perhaps additional weapons delivered by fixed-wing aircraft such as the F-117 stealth bomber. It's now 9:23 a.m. Baghdad time. PM, sorry, I spoke myself, 9:23 in the evening, Baghdad time. One reason we pointed out before that they strike at night is because the F-117 stealth bombers are equipped with the laser-guided weaponry. Generally speaking, they don't operate during the daytime because they're too vulnerable. Now, you may want to note that R.A. Fleischer said in his briefing that in the absence of proof that Saddam Hussein is gone, the U.S. is proceeding with their systematic destruction of command and control facilities, which is no doubt part of what this is about. Now, what those F-14s and F-18 jets taking off from the carrier Theodore Roosevelt in the Mediterranean are, whether they are part of an attack on Baghdad or not, is unclear at this moment. And if not Baghdad, then where they are attacking. While this is going on, the U.S. 3rd Infantry Division has moved into southern Iraq. It has crossed the border and gone into southern Iraq, preceded by attack helicopters knocking out tanks, other armor, and fixed positions. Also walked ahead of them artillery barrages. We've had that on the air in recent hours, with Scott Pelley on one scene with the helicopter attacks and Jim Axelrod on another with the artillery. Axelrod is now with the 3rd Infantry Division, which, as we look at this live picture of Baghdad and listen to sporadic anti-aircraft fire, punctuated big time occasionally by huge weapons of considerable destruction hitting into Baghdad, way south of here, Baghdad, the U.S. Marines have been engaged in some at least limited ground combat on what we believe to be the Kuwaiti side of the Iraq-Kuwait border, perhaps taking on some patrols or spotter outfits of Iraqis we don't know, but the Marines were involved in a shootout there. But the 3rd Infantry Division has definitely launched into Iraq itself. I haven't heard any huge hits in Baghdad for a while, as was the case last night. Then there were hits, and then it ended. Now, whether this is going to end now or not, there were, as best we could make out, well, we'll put it this way. We believe there were more cruise missiles, different hits in areas around Baghdad, seeming to concentrate on the west side of the Tigris River. Keep in mind the Tigris River runs through Baghdad. The Euphrates is a bit west of there. U.S. cruise missiles have hit the center of Baghdad.